Merry Christmas! This year, Netflix gave you profound sadness. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And you can't even see I put on my little lion thing. There you go. There's a lion on it.
Yay!
Because it's Voltron! Yay!
Yay! And I got space-themed shirt.
Yeah.
I have a Voltron shirt, but I use it to sleep in, so...
Yes, you do. Yeah, you have Voltron PJs, and you're not getting up here in PJs. We should probably go ahead and establish that you are indeed a massive fan of Voltron.
Yes.
Yeah. You're huge into this. And so a lot of this is going to be your reaction to it. Not that I don't like it as well. I really dig this show as well, but I'm in a totally different... I'm in the minor leagues on this one, and you're, you know, MVP coming in at the majors. But yeah, so Voltron is now all wrapped up, and we did a post-Geekout. I think we did post-Geekout for like the first season, maybe the second.
And
we did a couple of ones for each individual season, but on Twitch. We never uploaded onto the channel.
Yeah.
So we figured that now that the show's finally over, we should finally do one last big P-Gore for the whole thing, but especially for the final season. And I gotta say, that is how you do a series finale. They wrapped up pretty much everything. And they didn't just wrap it up. They wrapped it up and then turned to the audience and said, no, there's nothing else. Ever. Here's everything that's going to happen to the characters. And everything that could lead to future adventures with them is all resolved and gone. Yeah, man, this felt complete. Like, there was a moment even coming in at, like, towards the very end in which I was like, they could still do, like, a movie or something with, like, one last... Nope. It is done. Dunzo McGunzo. It is all wrapped up. And normally on the post-Geekout reaction, since we normally do these for movies, we save all spoiler talk until after we give our score. But when it comes to TV shows, we don't do scores and we just do full spoilers the entire time. So if you have not seen the final season of Voltron, tune out now, man. Cause wow, this thing had some major twist in it.
Yeah.
And I kind of guessed at one of the twists because literally like a freaking hour after this came up, like not an hour, but maybe like 3-4 hours or something after this became available, Allura was the #1 thing trending on Twitter. And I just remember looking at that and being like, how on earth did you guys watch all this? That, like, you had to have, like, skipped episodes. You had to have just have gone, like, does this feel like a filler episode? Skip. Go on to the next one. Or they just went to immediately the final episode just to find out how it all resolved. Because it was insane how quick that was trending. But that just shows, like, the dedication of the Voltron fan base. It's crazy to me that they basically... I'm going to say something that I know a lot of people are going to come in here and disagree with, but I'm going to stand by it. I honestly think this is our generation's Star Trek. That big, crazy sci-fi adventure, really far out there concepts. Because, yeah, when the show began, it was just like, hey, we have giant lions that form together and we go and fight other giant things. And we're fighting an evil empire. But, I mean, like, towards, like, I don't even know which season, like season 4, season 5, when they started going like, no, alternate realities and energy that makes up all of time and space. Like, when they started getting into all that, I was like, okay, you're delving into some really heavy sci-fi stuff. And this final season is nothing but that. Like, this final season is basically the final fight in a Final Fantasy game, in which it's just like, no, you are at the epicenter of time and space collapsing all into one thing, and all of existence now all rides on you, and you're also traveling into the soul of another human being to have this fight, and you're dealing with the spirits of those who have come before you. It's like, this really is like really hardcore science fiction stuff in here. But at the same time, at its center, it is a story about people all coming together and people all working together, which is always what the defining thing of Star Trek was. So yeah, I think that they have created that for this generation. But go ahead, what were your thoughts on the final season?
Well, that was pretty weird.
How so?
Well, I don't know. It's just like, I kind of felt like it went too far, maybe? Like...
Oh, you mean like to the, like, what they did at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because at the end of this, they... Man, I remember back, it was like season 4 or 5 when they go into the alternate reality. I was like, well, this is a cute little one-off thing. That's not going to have anything really to do with anything else. And they kept building on that until they have, like, a thing at the epicenter of all realities that, like, time flows differently in there and such. And I remember looking at that and just being like, oh, shoot, okay, so that reality, like, one-off episode was going to actually lead into, like, some other stuff. And then at the end of this, no, they are fighting outside the multiverse. And literally they are destroying every reality in existence with their... Like, it's some Gurren Lagann stuff.
Yeah.
There's even a moment in which, what's the... I keep wanting to call her Hagar, but that's not her name anymore.
Like, Miranda? No, it's like...
It wasn't that, but okay, we're
no,
gonna keep
I don't know.
Hagar.
I forget.
Yeah, we're both terrible with names. But yeah, there's that moment in which her mech gets her wings that form into a giant drill, and I was like, okay, this is more than just like a coincidence. This is inspiration. Like, you definitely, like, this is an homage at this point. But yeah, it is insane that, like, at the end of this, it's all of them just, like, every single blast takes out, like, billions and trillions and zillions and countless lives, and you see all of them flashing before their eyes. It's like, oh my god, who thought we were going to get here? Which, that's the thing, at the end of a really long series, that's what you should say. At the end of a really long series, you should look at where you are in the big final moment and then think back to the very, like, humble beginnings of, like, hey man, we're just a couple of cadets and we snuck onto this base one night. And just go, Jesus, how did we get from there to here? That is crazy. And yeah, so I kind of loved it, but then again, I love when a sci-fi thing goes to those levels. Like, I love when you get to Gurren Lagann levels, and we're just like, no, we're literally throwing universes at each other at this point. If you earn it, and I honestly think they did, because as I said, halfway through the series, they established that, yeah, alternate realities might end up becoming a thing, everybody. And boy, did they. But I also absolutely love it. Again, just like Gurren Lagann, they literally, with the power of their will, merge their giant mechs together to create an even larger mech. I was like, okay, again, it's like, I can see the inspiration that you took from this, but I don't have a problem with that because you're nailing it and you set up everything to make it pay off in this world. But I don't know, do you think that they should have gone, like, simpler with it?
Well, the thing is, I like simpler, but that's just my personal taste.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I kind of felt like I wish there were more, like, I don't know, like, filler episodes where they're, like, just chilling out.
Okay, that I can absolutely agree with you on.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. This is one of the things that these guys, I don't know their names, but they're the Avatar guys. This is something that they do amazing. They will set up a big, long story with an epic payoff, but they know exactly when to stop and go, all right, let's just have everybody breathe for a second in here. And the one problem that I have with this final season is that in the last season, they introduced us to this whole new cast of characters that ran the Atlas. And in that season, last season, we got a little bit of info on them. Like, we got a lot of connection with Lance's sister. But when it comes to, like, all the pilots of those special ships that they created, like those 4 new cadets, I was like, okay, they're interesting, but I don't really have much of them. But then in this season, we actually start to get stuff on them, and I was like, I really like these people. These guys are awesome. Why couldn't we get, like, one more season so that way we could have, like, this whole season exploring them, and then the next season we do the whole finale thing?
Yeah.
And that was kind of my problem with this season.
Yeah.
They gave me some really great characters here at the end, and we got, like, that much time to be able to spend on them. Like the documentary episode that we got, I love that episode. That episode was great. The episode where where they had to go to the mall.
Yes.
Shopping, that was so good. I freaking love, oh god, I looked up their names last night. I've forgotten them all already. I know the camera guy, I think his name Kincaid. But the 2 girls who went to the mall, I freaking adore their interactions. The one girl who's like the big peppy one, in the documentary episode, in the mall episode, like, that was so freaking good. And I love the way that she kind of plays off the one who, they never say it, but, like, it's kind of clear that she's got, like, Asperger's or something with her, which I thought was really cool that they created a character to kind of have that representation in there. But yeah, she's all just, like, statistics. Just like, no, I don't understand emotions. That's not quite, I'm sorry. But, yeah. It's not...
Like, she's just very blunt and forward, like, honest.
Well, it's also
like,
very clear she doesn't understand emotions.
Like, she doesn't, like, understand, like, how to, like, respond to emotions.
No, she just... Well, Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the longer we go on this, the more I dig my hole. But yeah, it's very clear that like she has like some kind of an inability to really comprehend emotions or social situations. And I thought it was really cool that they provide some representation for people out there like that. And I absolutely love her interactions with the rest of her crew. But again, it's like, I mean, in the length of time that I took to talk about those interactions, you could have watched every single one of those interactions in this season twice. So it's like, oh God, they're so good. These 4 new characters who we got to be these pilots are so freaking good. And we didn't get enough time with them. And Peach wants to know what's going on with my fist. What is it, Peach? You fascinated by my fist? What is it? There's nothing in the hand, buddy. Yum. Okay. But yeah, I really love those characters. And there's like that moment in which the general guy, played by Nolan North, who, yeah, he was like in the first episode, he was the big tough guy who just had the one squinty eye. We've gotten little bits of him ever since coming back, but he was always like, oh, Commander, this is what you do. Oh, you gotta go and do this thing. Then there's the moments they're all like stretching and like doing warm-ups. And he's like, is that why you have problems on the pull-ups? And he goes, no, it's because I'm old and overweight. And I was like, I kind of like this version of this grizzled dude. But we've never got to see him just like hanging out and talking with everybody. It'd be cool to do that. And the Galra person who's on board, the one who was like working with Lotor, I love that we got that episode that kind of like showed her having to like be like that square peg into the round hole, just like, I do not fit in here, but they're like trying to make it work, and she's like, nope, none of this works, I do not fit in at all in this place. And I dig that we got the episode that kind of showed them like forming and coming together and bonding a little bit. But then after that, I was like, okay, now let's see her like actually like part of all this, and let's see her like hanging out with the rest of them. It's like, no, we didn't get that, and oh man, it really is just a shame. Hey buddy, how's it going? Oh, it really is a shame that we just did not get any more of that.
Yeah, and it's like, I understand it's because you have to save the universe and everything, so you don't really have time to sit around and bond, but couldn't
you save the universe in the next season? Like,
yeah.
I would have gladly had taken, like, here's the thing. I'm not saying, like, this show should have gone on forever. I am a firm believer in stay for as long as you need to stay and then go out on top. And I think this show absolutely did that. But I think they could also have gone out on top on a season 9, and it would have been like too hard to stretch this out just a little bit more. Like, give us like, because this season was 13 episodes long, and a lot of their seasons have been only 8 episodes long. I would totally have been fine with them adding 3 more episodes to this to make it 16 episodes, split that into 2 things, split that into 2 seasons. And, you know, with those 3 additional episodes, giving us a little bit more time to see, like, the other people on board the Atlas. So, yeah, I really wish that we had gotten just a little bit more time with that. As I said, the way this thing wraps up, there's not going to be anything else with the Paladins. But I really would dig if they came in here with, like, a 4-issue miniseries or, like, maybe even a comic. Because they've done a lot of spin-off comics for Voltron, which kudos to them on that. And it was just about the Atlas. I would love if they did that, because I really want to see more of these characters. I know there's one in particular who you really want to see more of, because last night on Twitter, after you finished watching this, you were pissed about something. I'm going to call you out right now. You were mad about something. Do you want to get into that now or wait?
Yeah, I should. It's, you know, it's the elephant in the room, I guess, and, like, I think... It's something I think a lot of, like, Shiro fans out there also agree with.
Shiro is your main character.
Like, he is my favorite, and it's like the thing is, like, throughout the entire series, it's like, you know something was gonna happen to him, and it's like...
They have been setting up from day one, Shiro is not getting a happy ending to this. Like, they've been setting up early in this thing. It's like, everything that could be bad for a person, it's happening to Shiro.
And it's like... No, give him a break. I just want him to be happy. And it's and he did get his happy ending, but not in the way I wanted it to be.
Again, I think that would have been helped a lot if we got like 3 more episodes in here. Because at the end of this, it says Shiro...
Like, it's not even like during the actual like episode, like during the final credits.
It's during the like
the epilogue.
Yeah, it's during the here's what happened to all these characters, which I thought that what they did with each of those characters was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love seeing what they were doing with each of those characters, but Shiro's was just the one that they go out on. It's basically, I can't remember exactly how they phrased it, but it's like Shiro finally got to leave the battlefield and be happy.
Like he finally found happiness or something.
Yeah, something like that. They also mentioned Battlefield in there, I think. But yeah, finally found happiness, and it shows him getting married and kissing this guy who we saw for like one or two episodes,
Maybe.
And he didn't really do anything. Like, he was there in that moment in which Nolan North, general character, was talking about, like, I'm old and overweight. He was one of the guys stretching with him, and he was like, sorry, sir. And, like, that was really all you got from him in that moment. And then there was also another moment which he was there on the bridge, just like, sir, this is happening right now. And that's really all you got from him.
Like, did he ever even interact with Shiro? Like,
on the bridge, like, he took an order from him.
and like
Maybe he was in, like, the last season and we didn't even notice him because he was so, like, minor in the background.
That's the thing that really pisses me off about, like, basically Shiro and, like, you know, his gayness, basically, his homosexuality. It's like, his relationship is like, we were introduced to his, like, first love interest, like, in a flashback.
Mm.
And then when he got home,
his love interest was dead.
yes.
Were you about to say spoiler alert? We already did that. You don't have to.
Yes. So it's like, oh, thank you for introducing a gay character and then just killing off his boyfriend off screen that we didn't even bother to know. And now it's like, oh, sorry we did that. Here's another random boyfriend you don't really know, and they got married off screen as well. It's like, that's not how you do it. You really dropped the ball.
I think it's worth
one.
mentioning that we went to the Voltron panel at Comic-Con, and the very first thing they said when they came out was they said, I just want to address something. We've heard the complaints about about what we did with Shiro's boyfriend, and we've realized we messed up. Like, they admitted fault. They said, like, we realized we screwed up. We realized that, because I'm not coming in here and saying that, like, you can't have a character's love interest be killed off. But I understand that happens a lot with gay characters.
Yeah, it's like it's literally called bury the gays trope. It's like bury your gays. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically they came out and said, we did not realize that this was going to be a bad thing, so we apologize for that. And you can tell this at the end was them trying to come in here and apologize. Basically say like, okay, no, guys, we gave him someone, and also we had it be like it was the final image of us kind of like going, no, this is not like a side thing that we're not going to mention.
It's like if you actually like had like maybe even just one episode of Shiro and that guy interacting and like actually giving him like a name. I didn't even know if he had a name.
I had to look it up last night, and I went on the Voltron Wikipedia page. I had to go on the Atlas. I had to go on the page for the crew of the Atlas, and I think it's like Kevin or something. I think it begins with a K. And literally when you click on his page, all it says is, Shiro is the loving husband of, Kevin is the loving husband of Shiro. And that's literally it, and it's just a big blank page. That is it. Wow. You are legit mad about this. Calm down, relax.
No, but like that's the thing. Like one of the reasons why I enjoy this series so much is because you get to see the characters interact and grow with each other. Yes, that's why I enjoy those filler episodes where you get to see them like, you know, have fun with each other and like learn and stuff. And so it's like
it's what makes the connection between them so
yes,
good.
And like that connection is what helps them become Voltron and like save the universe and everything. So, just to have some random guy just come in and just, like, not even do anything and just be the one for Shiro, it's just... it was them solely trying to make an apology. And you can tell that... But it was just too little too late.
Well, you can tell that by the time that they found out that people were upset about what they did with Shiro's boyfriend... The series was pretty much done.
Yeah.
It was written, it was recorded, it was in the can, like it was done. So they were like, so this was pretty much all they could do.
Yeah, by the way, like 8 seasons in just like 2 years, that is really impressive.
It's not 2 years.
But it's like, it's been just like on...
It's been like 4 years.
Yeah,
but
like in production, but like, I mean, available on Netflix.
It's impressive, yes.
Yes, like... So yeah, it was very impressive that they were able to like do so much in such a short amount of time, but if they could just, like, stretch it out a little bit more.
As I said, 3 more episodes would have made this final season perfect. Because 3 more episodes would have given us more about the Atlas, which is what I want, and would have given us, it would have given us an episode dedicated to the thing that really needed to make Shiro's ending really work. But yeah, so that is the part where the final season falls apart to me. Not falls apart makes it sound like it doesn't work at all. Those are the problems that I have with the final season. However, the moments of interaction that we do get in here, like I said, the episode where they go to the mall, Allura going on the date with Lance, I thought that was great.
Wait, how did you feel about the relationship between Lance and Allura?
I thought it's been there since the beginning.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Everybody keeps talking, man, okay. People have been talking about, like, oh, is it going to be Keith and Allura or Lance and Allura? And I was like, Keith is into no one. Keith is into killing the Galra. That is literally it for him. Like, it is, okay, sorry, that's a whole other thing. It's like, Keith has never shown interest in anyone barely beyond friendship. Like, it took him, like, 5 seasons to warm up to a dog. It's like, this dude is not really, like, yes, Keith is friends with everyone there, but Keith is friends in the, like, hey, that way of being a friend. Like, that is the max level of friendship that Keith is aware of. That and his relationship with Shiro. But that is like a father-son thing. And in fact, like the entire origin story to Shiro and Keith's relationship, that whole episode was them just spelling out for everyone, they're like father and son, okay?
Or like older brother and younger brother.
A little bit more like that, yeah. I guess they're more like older brother and younger brother, yeah. Yeah, like it's literally from the beginning, Lance has like had a thing for Allura.
Like, I just always thought that was just part of his character. Like, he's always, like, flirting with girls and stuff, so...
Where are the other girls in this shit?
Well, he's always, like, bragging about it and, like,
Yeah, but I mean, like...
But, like, there's also... He was flirting with, like, the mermaid alien.
That's
and,
true.
Like,
That's fair.
Yeah, and...
But, I mean, like, it definitely, like... 3 seasons ago, I'd say it stopped being flirting. Like, it has very clearly become, like, no, he actually, like...
So, like, I guess, yeah, I see that. Like, he's starting to mature. Like, he's starting to realize, like...
Like, anytime that anyone else... Like, the moment that Lotor got introduced, it stopped being just casual flirting. Because the moment that Lotor was introduced, and it became very clear, like, no, Allura and Lotor kind of have a thing going on as well. Lance actually really started to get hurt by that. Like, that was not like, I'm flirting with someone, and it means nothing to me. It's like, no, I actually care about this person. Like, it has been there, everybody. So yeah,
So how do you, I'm getting a bit off subject, but, like, how do you feel the series, like, treated, like, Lotor?
Oh, I think Lotor is a piece of shit. He's very complex, and I like that. We have that whole episode in here in which it shows, like, his origin with Hagar and with who's the head of the Galra, the big...
Zarkon?
Zarkon, yes. Sorry, we're terrible with names. I really dug that episode kind of showed, like, the very weird relationship that Lotor and Hagar have had, especially with Hagar. Hagar is a great villain in here. And I love that, like, this entire series has been like, oh, Zarkon, he's the big bad guy. Oh, wait, no, he's gone. What about Lotor? Well, Lotor might be a good guy. No, he ain't gonna. We all know that ain't gonna work out. And then it didn't work out, and we're like, we call it. We saw it coming. Wait, what happened to Lotor? Lotor's now just gone. Oh, well, then who's left? And then it was like, Hagar just steps out, like, I've been here the entire time. I'm the one who discovered the secrets of quintessence. I'm the one who turned Zarkon evil. I'm the one who went down this dark path. I'm the one with also a tragic backstory just like him. I'm the one who had to watch as their own kid had no idea I was staying 2 feet from them the entire time. And I was so brainwashed by quintessence that I couldn't even say anything to them. I had to just sit here and watch, like, behind this brick wall of emotions as my son just got abused by my husband, who was now a big monster as well. Yeah, man, she had a massive tragic backstory.
Yeah, it's like, geez, like, no wonder she just wanted to, like, destroy all of reality. Like,
yeah, when it gets to that point when she was just like, if I can't be happy, no one can. It was like, listen, that's probably going a little bit too far, but, you got a backstory in there. Man, and I thought that was awesome. Like, here's the thing, I am always in favor of playing the long game. And these guys knew how to play it, because playing the long game can go horribly wrong when you just take way too much time. But the thing with the Voltron guys is they had big thing here, 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 big thing here. But while all this was going on here, it was long game underneath it. And then at the end when it was like, oh, Hankar's gonna be the big villain of the whole thing? Oh my god, that makes 100% sense. That is absolutely perfect. I love that. But yeah, what do you mean when you ask me how I feel about Lotor? Like,
well, I know there are like a lot of Lotor fangirls out there who wanted him to like be like the Zuko of the series and like go from evil to good.
Yeah, I won't.
Oops.
They ain't gonna do. These are the Avatar guys. They're not gonna do Zuko twice. You know who the Zuko was in this? Keith. Keith was the freaking Zuko. Distant, didn't want to talk to anyone, always wearing red, weird father issues. That was the Zuko. He just happened to be good the entire time, and his whole thing wasn't learning to become good. It was him just learning to have friends, which was also Zuko's whole message. Yeah, guys, it was there if you want it. But also, stop looking at these characters and trying to compare them to the Avatar guys, because that's the amazing thing. These guys created an incredible, groundbreaking series with Avatar, and then they create another groundbreaking series with Voltron. And you can look at Voltron as totally being its own thing, and that's incredible that you don't just look at these guys as being alternate reality versions of the Avatar gang. I love how original everyone in here is. Everyone in here is original even by comparison to the original Voltron crew. Which I think is so cool that they even had that episode in which they said, oh yeah, the original Voltron show, that's actually a show in our universe that people made in honor of Voltron, and everybody was looking at like, this is us? That's... It was so weird seeing our version of Pidge have to walk around and pretend to be their version of Pidge. Oh man, it was so weird. But yeah, no, Lotor to me was all like, no, dude, this is like a cat with a knife in its mouth. Like, you might go like, all right, as long if the kitty just drops the knife, I can come in and pet. It's like, no, motherfucker, cats want to just eat, and they will eat you if you let them. But again, it's not like he was pure evil. He did have multiple sides to himself, and that is the sign of a well-written villain. The best written villains are the ones in which you look at it as like, man, if one thing had gone different in your life, you would have been a good guy. And that is exactly what Lotor was. But man, it's too far gone for that dude. I love that one shot when they bring him back in the suit and he's just acting like a beast and animal in there, and there's just like one quick shot in which you see like from the back the pod opening, and he's like melted goo just like merged with the machine. Oh, it was so good and creepy. But we'd also, speaking of filler episodes, I love the carnival episode. But as I was watching it, it was like heartbreaking because I knew that was the last filler episode. Yeah. Because like he literally goes, go out there and
have fun while you still can before you go out into space again.
Like they literally turned to the audience and went, this is the last chance to have fun, everybody. It's about to go down after this. But this season did a wonderful job of wrapping up so many loose ends, and as I said, in the beginning, when we saw like them all hanging out at the mall, and I was just falling in love with those two other pilots, I was like, man, it stinks that you're introducing so many other things in here in the final season that I would like to be further explored. But then like shortly after that, they kind of just came in and said, all right, time to wrap up everything, and it didn't feel like it was all just being crammed at the end, because we got Lotor's whole gang in there. Coming in, like the big muscular one is the leader of those rebel like bounty hunter characters. I remember when they got introduced, I was like, don't introduce brand new villains here at the very end. Don't do that. And then I realized, oh wait, these are all characters we'd seen before. Most of them are characters we had seen before. There's a few new ones. But then when the big final villain reveals herself, I just looked at that and I was like, oh, that's actually perfect. That is great. And I love, and again, why I wish we had like 3 more episodes, because there's that moment in which they break out of the brig, and is it that what it's called in a ship where you keep people?
The bridge.
Where they keep out of that, where they break out of that, and they head up to the command center, and they come in and they want to help. And I would have dug to see, like, again, it gives like 3 more episodes and see them being like, all right, well, we still don't trust you, but maybe we'll let you out like once a day to come and help with some stuff. And then, you see them like starting to bond and warm up a little bit. So yeah, I really wish we'd got a little bit more of that, but I did love that we at least got that one bit in there. I thought that was great. Anything else to talk about really before we go into the big finale on this? Oh, I do love that Hunk, I think, got a lot more in this season.
Yeah, I just wish his alien girlfriend got more too.
What happened to that voice actress? Because that character popped up like 2 more times in the season and in the series and never talked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she popped up here in like the final storyline. She popped up that one moment when they finally got back to Earth, and then there was like another moment where she popped up, but she never spoke in any of those moments. So did something happen to the voice actress? I gotta wonder what happened. Yeah, I wanted to see more of that, but I figure it has to be something with like the voice actress didn't want to come back, or maybe she passed away for all we know, or like maybe there's some weird thing with the SAG association where like just legal reasons she couldn't come back, or just timing wise she couldn't come back. But yeah, for some reason they just could not bring that voice actress back, so we never got to hear anything else ever from his alien girlfriend. And yeah, man, that did kind of bum me out. I wish we had got more of that. But
that's another relationship that I'm disappointed.
But that one, I'm not blaming the writers in any way, because she kept popping back up whenever they could have her pop up with an excuse to not talk. So I'm like, no, something happened. Something like a timing thing, like a legal thing. Like for some reason, they could not do anything more with this. But dude, nobody would have cared if you had recast her. Like, that's all I'm just saying, like, anybody outside of, like, the main, I'd say, like, 15 characters in here, if you recast, no one would, like, go, that's not the same person. Like, no, you could have recast her. But yeah, Hunk has always been my favorite. But I always kind of hated that, like, they kind of forget some of the cool stuff that he can do, or like kind of forget his purpose other than just being jokey.
Yeah, like there were like a few episodes definitely where he was just the funny fat guy.
Yeah, and I always kind of had a problem with that.
Yeah,
but I mean,
same.
like, I don't have a problem with him being like comedic relief.
No.
But like, yeah, there were some moments in which he was like so comedic that I was like, I can't really buy you being a paladin when you get to like that level of like comedic relief.
Mm-hmm. So like to have him like actually like he's an engineer, so like to have him like talk engineer tech and have him like actually like cook and everything. Anytime in this series that they remember, oh yeah, Hunk is smart. Like I always wanted to go like, and caring. Like he's very caring. Like he's the big heart of the team, basically. And it's like, oh, like I know like these Altaeans, they probably miss home, so I try to like cook them a home recipe. It's like, oh, that's so sweet. I love that, and I love that like it'd be a whole that entire episode. Like aside from just being an excuse to like show off the rest of the Atlas, it was also an excuse to have Hunk just talk about like stuff that's important to him without him ever having like comedic relief. Mm-hmm. Because he was never really comedic relief throughout any of that entire episode. He was all just heart. And I dug that we got an episode for that, and we showed that his unique talents, they are important, and that his final thing, like where his story ends, it's that, yeah man, he just assembled a whole team of cooks, including his alien girlfriend and his old boss from the mall, and that other Altaean, which I kind of wish we had gotten a little bit more with her. I think that she's another one of those characters that we got introduced to so late that I really enjoyed her. But man, I would have liked to have seen a couple more episodes with her. Especially because, yeah, there were little like hints that like her and Hunk was going to like teach her like how to cook. Mm-hmm. I would like to have seen a couple more episodes like that. That would have been awesome. But yeah, like seeing that like his unique talent became a big diplomacy tool, I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the finale of this, at the end of all this, again, I freaking love Hagar. I love that at the end of all this, when she goes to the other universe after it looks like she has destroyed another universe, like she just killed an infinite number of people. Yeah. And she goes to this other universe. It's still, even after doing that horrible thing, it almost breaks your heart again. When it's like, she finally has the thing she's looking for. But her son in that reality is like, no, you're not my mom. And she just goes, do you know how hard I have tried to keep my shit intact until and all for this moment. And there's, oh no, you're not my mom. Oh, okay, fine. Guess what? This ain't your plan anymore. Everything's gone. Yeah, man, I thought that was so good. Cause yeah, you can tell like she's coming in there and she's acting like it's good. Everything was for something. It all worked out. I'm free. This is everything that I actually wanted. And then the moment that her son like says like, nah, you're not my mom. Like, you can just tell that, like, oh, it's not like she instantly stopped being crazy. She was able to just pat that crazy down,
long enough when she thought she finally had the thing she wanted. And the moment that she doesn't get it, it's like, do you know, I destroyed worlds for this. I lived for 10,000 years as some weird puppet of my evil dark magic. But, oh, okay, I see how it is. All right, fine, let's do this. Yeah, I love that.
It's like, there are no realities where Lotor accepts his mom.
Yeah. Man, if that doesn't want to just break your heart, I was like, no, man, it's never going to work out for you. We didn't even talk about the fact that they got to actually meet the other paladins.
Yeah.
That was
like the
so
original
good.
paladins. That was really awesome.
That was great. Yeah, the way that they worked that in there, I thought that was so good. I thought the little like one-on-one messages they had with them, and also the fact that like we all knew that, you know, Lance, excuse me, hiccups, that Lance taking over the Red Lion, like that was kind of a tribute to the original series. Because in the original series, like that's how it worked out. But it also worked for like Shiro. I love that like they didn't just kill Shiro off. Like Shiro got a promotion. Like Shiro got a promotion so that then Keith can move up to the Black Lion and Lance can move to the Red Lion.
And Allura can be the Blue Lion.
Yeah. But it's something I didn't even think about. But now that Lance was in the Red Lion, it means that he was piloting the lion that Allura's dad piloted. So it actually gave us a really good excuse to actually have Lance meet Allura's dad and have them have a nice one-on-one talk. I thought that worked out like gangbusters. I thought that was brilliant how that all panned out. But let's see. Also, yeah, I think that Zarkon gained like a little bit of like humanity in there, because yeah, that's one thing that you have to remember is that Zarkon, he was very aggressive. He was like a general type guy. He was a conqueror, but he wasn't always a monster. He got corrupted by that. So it was great to see like what he was like before that, and actually see him have a conversation with Keith. I love that moment in which he just it's one of the only times in which I have ever seen the villain gives the hero we're not so different you and I speech, but it actually works.
Yes, and it's actually in like a good light, not in a negative way. Like,
yeah, exactly, because it was the villain before he totally got corrupted and totally became a villain, kind of coming in here and telling Keith like, listen man, there's a reason you're piloting the same line that I piloted. We do have something in common. But, you know, look at what happened to me. Look at where it took me and what dark path it took me down. And you're currently standing in the middle of a monster's mind with no way out. Be cautious about this, man. Like, it wasn't the like, yes, come and join me in the dark side. It's like, no, I went to the dark side. It's not a good place. And you kind of head there too if you don't look out for this. Like, I thought it was brilliant how they pulled that off. But yeah, okay, let's go into the big finale on this thing. I kind of knew that Allura was going to die, because even though I avoid all spoilers, Allura was the #1 trending thing the day that this came out on Twitter, and I was like, well, something's gonna happen with her. And when she got possessed by the evil entity thing, which I think, again, 3 more episodes to kind of explore that concept a little bit more, would have been great. I mean, I was able to like go, okay, I get what you're doing here. But 3 more episodes really to kind of like delve into like, well, what's the origin of this evil entity thing exactly? But when she got possessed by that, I was like, maybe it's trending because she turns evil?
Yeah, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, there's only so many more episodes left. There's no way she's going to be like evil like that.
She becomes a villain.
She becomes the new villain. It's like, that'd be...
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when it got to the end of it, it was like, they're destroying all these realities. I have a feeling that Allura is going to sacrifice herself, and she's going to become like, in a weird way, almost like God. Like she's going to be the one that she's going because they
or Jesus or something like.
Well,
that.
I mean, they have her heal an entire planet in like season 2 of this thing, so they have set up like no. Her entire existence is she heals things. Now all of time and space is destroyed. If anybody's gonna sacrifice themselves to bring it all back, it's gonna be her. But I love that, like, she sets up. Like, it was set up long ago. No. Your own son taught me how to take destructive energy and turn it into creation. You are loaded right now with destructive energy. If we work together, we can do this. Like, you took a thing that had been established in previous seasons, and you made it all pay off in the end, and you gave Allura, like, her big moment. She was able to have like a good sacrifice there at the end that actually really meant something. And she brought back her home planet, which was incredible. She gave Lance the little, like, I'll always be here with you E.T. thing. I'm not quite sure how the little, like, cheek things worked. Is that, like, just a thing with Altaeans where when they love someone they pass it on? I don't know.
Well, it's like, maybe it's like, that's like her, maybe it's like, she's a part of him now?
Well, yeah, but like, I'm wondering, is that a thing that their species does, or is it a thing that she did because right now she's rewriting reality? That she basically put a part of herself inside of him. That's what I'm wondering.
Okay.
I'm wondering, like, here's the thing. What I'm wondering is, at the very end of this, did she, because she's now rewriting reality, did she put a tiny bit of, like, her spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it, inside of him so that she will always be with him? Or is it just a thing that's part of Altaean biology that, like, if they love someone, it's like passing on a wedding ring. They just give them, like, their cheek things.
Well, I thought it was more of a spiritual thing.
Okay.
To me, anyway. I don't know.
Again, it's like, I just don't know which of those two it is.
Because, like, at the end, like, Lance says, like, yeah, I miss her, but, like, I look around and I see what she's done, and she's with me all the time. So it's like, yeah, to me, it was a spiritual thing.
Okay, then. All right, cool. I can deal with that. I'm fine with either of those excuses, by the way. I'm just curious which one it is. But yeah, I love that final image of her going off with the original Paladins and with Hagar and with Lotor there at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I literally almost started tearing up at the end.
It's like, yeah, she's with her family now, and they're happy together, finally. That's all she wanted.
But yeah, I thought this was a beautiful ending. Like, I really was, like, tearing up at the end of all this. Man, I'm thinking back to the end of Avatar. I'm thinking back to the end of Korra. And I know that, like, I can point at Avatar and go, that was a tighter thing. Like, the series overall, I think it was tighter and more focused. Korra, I have said before, and I know people really disagree with me on this, but personally speaking, I like Korra even more than Avatar just simply because of, like, the characters and the villains in there. Like, the storylines of each season kind of spoke to me a little bit more. I'm not saying it is better. I'm just saying that I personally enjoyed it more because it spoke to me a little bit more. But neither of those two had an ending as good as this. I think this is definitely the best ending that these guys have done. I thought that this went out on an incredible note. Even though you were super pissed at the last image we got. Just simply because you wanted to be a character that he actually knew.
Yes.
Yes.
Or like we knew, the audience.
We knew, the audience, yes. Again, 3 more episodes would have resolved every problem that we had with this final season, but still, I think this was a beautiful ending. And I do love that it goes out with them, like, looking at their lions flying off, because in my mind, I was like, they could still come back with, like, a movie and do, like, Allura is still trapped out there, and like, oh shoot, we found a way to get Allura back, like something like that. And I love at the end of this, they turn to us and went, nah man, sometimes it's done. Lions out. And they just flew off into space.
It's like, do you think they flew off until, like, their time is needed next time? Yeah.
It's not like they just went, like, and we are now going to dissolve into the ether. No, it was like, hey, man, one day new paladins will be needed again. One day far in the future, they will be needed.
Like, I guess so, but I was like, I didn't expect him to, like, fly off. I expected him to, like, you know, stay there, like, until they were needed. I didn't expect him to fly off, but yeah, I guess it makes...
But again, it makes it makes a bigger period mark if you do this. It makes a bigger, like, it's over. Story of Lance and Keith and Pidge and Hunk and Shiro, it is done. Which, by the way, I freaking love. Like, I point at this and I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's very clear, like, you were taking some inspiration from Gurren Lagann in here, but it was good inspiration because I love the fact that the Atlas merges with Voltron because it gives us an excuse to get all 6 paladins in there.
Yes.
I thought that was great. But yeah, this finale was phenomenal. It's honestly one of the best finales I've ever seen to a television series. It's a top 10 television finales that I've seen. Anything else that you want to add here?
No, I think you pretty much said everything. I said everything, so...
You need to do some venting. But yeah, we need to go because I am about to start crying again thinking about this. That shot, man, I was holding it together, but then when it got to that shot of all the lions looking at their paladins and got to the shot of the blue lion looking down, I was like... Oh, God. Okay. Ooh, okay. All right. So, yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Come in next time. Bye.
Bye.